We are live. Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC joining in from our podcast video. This time, more of just a news roundup because we're sort of on the precipice of new stuff, including a lot of new anime, apparently, and also just a whole bunch of new stuff in April as spring finally hits and we hopefully leave winter behind. Knock on wood.
Oh no, I have glass.
Don't miss
you. We still have snow here.
We just got
except Daylover.
Yeah.
She misses you.
But I guess we'll see. Now I started to do random YouTube order with the new Skype order thing. So eeny, meeny, miny, Jen.
Oh, I may be first. I may be last. I may be wishing I had some wood to knock on for winter to go away. But I'm first. Jen. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hello, governors.
All right. And then next up, Carlos.
Hello, this is Gamelgator here. Just telling you all that get ready, get set. I'm about to try to see if I could get myself into a competitive scene for Vanguard Zero.
Woo!
My team finally did it. We are confirmed to be for the last chance qualifiers right now.
Ooh.
We did the last game.
Yeah.
We did the last game, and now we just simply have to wait for the results, which my block B, the block B is kind of super congested with a lot of people just being 6-3 right now. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard picking who's going to be the one removed, but there's still one more week for everyone else to compete in a match. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely know for a fact we are certified in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Kick butt, take names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that order.
Yes.
All right. And then next up is Second Day.
Hi there, this is the Second Opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second, I don't know, I think my catchphrase still has yet to be matched here.
Yeah, probably.
Hope you're doing good.
Hi. Damn.
All right. With that said, who wants to go first? What we've been up to? And Carlos, I would say your news things, hold those, and I'll have a slot for you when we go over news topics.
All right.
Just sort of to keep it focused that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
all right. Who wants to go first? What we've been up to?
I'll go real quick. I'll go quick since mine will be really quick. I am not up to anything at the moment except trying to trudge through Zelda Twilight Princess.
Nice.
That's about it.
Zelda Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Wii version.
The first generation Wii version. I know, guys. I'm old and I'm late to the party.
Hey, I'm no better. I barely played any Zelda ever.
I
I'm
never
just
tried
not
to
a gamer.
play
But I know when I get my Switch. When I get a Switch, I know the first one. I know one of the things I'll be getting is we were my boyfriend and I were looking at a countdown of best Zelda games and best Zelda games, and this person put Breath of the Wild at the top of the list, and I'm I've been wanting to, and I've been salivating over Breath of the Wild ever since I saw it couple of years ago, and I've been wanting to. One of the reasons why I want to Switch is to get Breath of the Wild, because the previews I got were I kept thinking, oh my god, the colors, oh my god, the backgrounds.
Yeah, it is a very different, unique style of Zelda game that's more open world. So, even if you're frustrated with Twilight Princess, it is a very different experience.
Oh, totally. And I am getting on board with how, unfortunately, this countdown spoiled me a little bit of what's supposed to happen in a certain snow-coated level and that I am currently in at the moment.
dang.
So, and I'm oh no! But it spoiled me. It spoiled me a little bit. But I've been doing some backtracking to figure out where I was because I'm in a particular hard part of Twilight of the level. So now I have to go back through and okay, where the heck was I? That's the one thing that drives me nuts about Twilight Princess, and as I've been constantly saying that you can't pay me to replay it because of the saving mechanics. It drives me absolutely up the wall, on the floor, and up the wall again.
But at least you're not
Upside
digging
down,
anymore.
bouncing off the ceiling.
At least I'm not what?
You're not digging anymore.
Oh God, I'm not. I still have PTSD from the Okami digging stage. I swear, when I was done with that, I wanted to burn the game. I was like, I don't care about the art anymore. I don't care about the story anymore. I'm burning this thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my
The
god.
digging
certain
cages.
games can do that to you.
Screw the digging. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, like
I wanted to dig a hole in the backyard. I was like, I'll show you digging. I'll dig a hole in the backyard, 6 feet deep, throw the game
And throw you in it.
and
Yes.
and throw the game in it. And
That's
then,
how
and
I had
just,
it
like,
with
bury
the
it.
Lion King for Sega Genesis. At
Yeah.
some point, I was
God, and my neighbors will be like, "What does your daughter do? What is she doing in there?" It's like, I'm burying a body.
Oh no.
They call
Yeah.
my mother, like they call my mother. I'm like, I think your daughter's gone insane. And then at that point, Mom would be like, "You're just now telling me this? I've known this.
This is normal. This is a normal Thursday. Go away.
Exactly.
He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard.
I'd be like,
Yeah,
don't worry, guys, this is normal. This is normal for her. She's not really burying a body. It's just a video game.
but yeah, it's
Dinner's ready. I'm coming, Ma.
but yeah, it really just sucks when like you have that one game that you like, but there's that one little mini game that just frustrates you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I experienced that very badly recently with like Forbidden West. I finally beaten all that.
Oh, I want to.
Um,
Is that good? Is that good?
Oh, yeah, it's very good. I will, like I say, like ignore, like there's this optional like side quest for like combat, which like melee combat like
Yeah.
thing. Avoid that because it's very combo based and the combo system does not really work too well.
Uh-huh.
And specifically like to do these combat trials, you have to actually do the combos exactly how they want you. Like you have to do this
Oh
combo,
my
then this
gosh.
combo, then this combo.
Oh my goodness.
And if you miss it up, you have to start all over again, and it's timed, and like changing difficulty does nothing to it. It is like the most frustrating.
No, that's not going to be
controller
for me.
throwing mode. Yeah.
That sounds like the digging. That sounds like the digging stage in Okami. That sounds exactly like that.
So like I say, if you get to those, just avoid them. You'll enjoy the game better. And also for Forbidden West, there's weird difficulty spikes, but the game literally does nothing to stop you from like dropping the difficulty when there's like something like that. There's no punishment. There's no trophy thing. So it's like an easy, like if you get frustrated, just make the game funner for you.
Okay, what I forgot what system is Horizon on. I forgot what it's on.
PS4 and PS5.
Crap. Now I'd have to get another console. I don't really wanna. Cross-platform, please.
I mean, if you also get a gaming PC, for the original Horizon is on there now.
I don't want to. I don't want to get a PC. I really don't. I was like, I don't want any more hardware.
Oh, I don't know about that, Jen.
After the Switch, I'm like, I'm done. I swear. I'm done. I'm for the rest of my life. For the rest of whatever life I have left, done.
But isn't the games technically hardware?
Fair point.
Oh, stop playing devil's advocate, you.
Fair
In your
point.
case, it's just plain devil.
Yeah. Well,
Fair point. But I'm just this like game system.
oh yeah.
It's just game system that just gets more and more like, oh my gosh, you can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's anybody like anybody who has like a mansion that's nothing but full of gaming consoles. I bet that's gonna happen. They'll be like, okay, I have a 3.7. I don't know. No, let's say that. I have a $30 million mansion, and it is nothing but game consoles in it. This is my Sega room. This is my Nintendo room. This is my Sony room. This is my PC room. This is my Xbox room.
Just wait into the future. We'll get a Switch that can fold out and be a TV as well.
Okay, if that ever happens.
Yeah.
That ever happens. Okay, That may be the next.
That kind of sounds like that comic about when you're tired of rummaging through your pocket to find your cell phone, buy the new mobile bangle. You hang it on your wrist to check the time. Whoever heard of such a thing?
That is kind of cool, though.
But I guess who's up next for what we've been up to?
Well, I guess that's us. And Day and I have been continuing our Isio Takahata kick. We finally saw the rest of Heidi, which delivers it. When she finally gets to go back home from the lady who ends up as the main antagonist in every adaptation, because the story of Heidi doesn't really have a main antagonist, so she's the closest they get. But yeah, after that, it goes back to kind of just being a little more happy-pappy, but in that way that at least is, how would you say, more next level than a lot of studios that do that. I think, Day, you really liked it when, when Heidi got out of Germany.
Yes,
and
when she gets home again, like it's just so wholesome, and the ending is really nice.
Yeah, something about whether the crippled girl can learn to walk. And yeah, that it actually, as happy as it goes, like they're really, credit where it's due. Nothing is like a trite solution or nobody's too like wide-eyed good or innocent. Like I think what solves the what ends up being the final problem is essentially a tantrum. Like the characters hit their lowest point and then just step it up in a moment of pure emotion. But that happens sometimes, so.
Yes. And then we watched the Horus Prince of the Sun.
Oh yeah, Takahata, I feel like what gets glossed over too much, like to the point where I'm almost tempted to say that, people who talk about ranking Ghibli movies and stuff should include all these. That, Takahata, who is, I don't even want to say he's Miyazaki's right-hand man. You almost have to imagine he was more like his mentor. Like they formed Studio Ghibli together, but Takahata and not Miyazaki was the veteran when they did that. It was
wow.
And he already had, I think it was technically 3 movies under his belt, but fact of the matter was, there was just, they'd been working so long, like whatever work they could get and however much they could, take these studios that were just trying to do their thing and getting them to step it up. Like, he'd made like short films, like what they wanted to make a Pippi Longstocking adaptation. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have been all over that. Right. I love Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, then we have a movie that you should watch that's called Panda Panda.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like reading about that. Yeah, Pippi Longstocking has a surprisingly nuanced history where you realize what you never appreciated is that it's not just like hijinks with the weird little redhead girl. Like she's kind of supposed to make the more uppity people in the audience harumph a little bit and all that.
Yeah,
but the author, though, took one look at them and said, "Who are you people?" And so they had to go back to the drawing board. And one of the projects they did get, which I think was just meant to sort of capitalize on the panda craze in Japan at the time, they incorporated a lot of the Pippi Longstocking stuff that they wanted to do. So the main character is kind of looks like her, is, takes care of herself for at least all the parts that we see. She basically is Pippi Longstocking without the super strength, and you could point out maybe another difference or stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually my favorite one because it feels the most like a Ghibli movie. Heck, you can see elements of the Ghibli movies in all of them, but yeah, this one is where for example, there's a scene where the characters, the town floods and the characters make their way to their animal friends at the zoo on a raft made out of their bed, looking down on the town below that they walk through every day that's now flooded, and you already know that that's Ponyo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's where that came from. But I mean, stuff like that, like where that's what did it first, but also like just did it so well. I mean, yeah, Pippi Longstocking is living on her own, and one day a little panda cub is found on her back porch, and she decides she wants it to be her best friend and takes it in, and then it starts in English asking for its dad, who walks through the door looking like Totoro, except he talks too, and so much personality comes out of him that you realize there is a difference. Like, he is not what, like, Totoro is, just, yeah, a pure force of nature, just doing his thing, who's super friendly. Papa Panda is an actively, like, kind of lazy guy. Actually, he's a stunningly unconcerned sort of guy. A tiger is, or a mean dog is coming at his kid, and it's like, oh, he'll be fine. His super strength that we haven't seen he has until just now saves the day there. But yeah, so Papa Panda is a stunningly unconcerned guy, but he still thinks it's so wrong that Pippi Longstocking has to live on her own without having a family that he volunteers to be her dad. And it's accepted. Wow. And yeah, the whole thing is like a Dr. Seussian book or something where, like, yeah, reality just solid few degrees to the north of normal, and the story just proceeds with every character accepting it that way, which, yeah, I mean, sure, like, stuff that it did before the other Ghibli movies did it, but also kind of stands on its own, because Ghibli never really had one of those. Just, like, a story that's just, like, totally it was like your favorite picture book before bed.
Yeah. So in short, we definitely recommend both of them. And also now I finally got my Switch online, so people can visit my Iceland now.
Yay! I've been trying to hook up, like, that's the hard. I know that's going to be the challenge when I get mine, is hooking it up to the Wi-Fi, at least in the downstairs area, because I've just had so many trouble with the signal downstairs. So
yeah, I was just lucky that one of our friends also play Animal Crossing, and he was like, "Oh, you do like this and you do like that," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Of course, it would
That's
be simple.
great.
Just do this. They're like, what the heck did you just do?
Yeah. I still don't know.
I'm like, I lost you when you did this.
And I should be one of the ones that's good to computers, but not like I'm like, sure, I'm good at computers. That doesn't mean that I'm good to, like, game consoles.
Don't you just hate it? Don't you just hate it when, like, a lot of adults, like, they assume because they think you're young, you're immediately good at computers?
Well, it's like the computer is not the problem, and phones is not a problem. It's like when people come with their gamer console or their, like, something specific that's plugged into the computer that's destroyed and are like, here, fix it. And I'm just like, what?
At this point in my life, being called young, I feel like Bette Midler, which, like,
stop it. What am I then?
Younger.
I'm a living corpse then.
Really, we're not that far apart.
That's what I'm saying.
I shudder to think now when somebody even brings me a floppy disk. I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, just when you think like you're old, somebody brings you a floppy disk, and like, well, I'm younger.
At least
I remember
still
that
look amazing, right, Jenn?
Here's a story that sort of makes me feel really old, because he sort of do the mental math.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that, like, Netflix is making a sequel series to the 70s show. Oh. It's going to be the 90s show, and if you do, it's like premiere date to when the original 70s show did. It's that very similar difference between when the 70s show aired and when from the 70s through when the 90s show is going to air and the 90s.
I'm like, I am definitely not interested.
Yeah, and if you're wondering, they already tried to make that 80s show that bombed so bad that, Yeah, they're not going
Yeah,
back
but
to
this
that.
They're
is
gonna try
actually
again with the 2000s, and they're gonna try again
but the
with the
thing
2000s.
is,
Like, stop it.
it actually this just seems to be a better effort from what I've seen because it is actually bringing in a lot of the original cast and the original setting. So like their children's going over to the grandparents or Red and Kitty.
Mhm.
So it seems to at least be a better effort than whatever the heck the 80s show was.
Let's just hope it's going to be better than the new season of French Prince Battle.
You don't like the remake?
No,
they did?
like
It's-
I tried to watch it. There's like some some of the characters is okay, but I'm just like yeah.
I mean, well, okay, is it like bad quality or is it not for you?
It's not for me, I guess.
right.
Because
Well, I don't know.
I still remember the old one, and I think like
Mhm.
the old one was more funnier, if that makes
yeah.
any sense. It was
That makes
more
perfect sense.
lighthearted and
That
not
makes perfect sense.
serious.
That
I
makes
mean, this
perfect
one
sense.
seemed like it was trying to be more serious almost.
Yeah, it is.
I think what it's trying to be done is that it's trying to be darker because it's trying to incorporate like real real life issues for African Americans and such. I think it's trying to incorporate that and and make it more current and
that I appreciate, but
yeah.
I think it's just a little bit maybe too much for me right now. Yes. Just want happy things.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I can get a little bit of what it's trying to do and such.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I'm like I just think to myself, sometimes some stories don't really need to be redone or retold. You know, sometimes they're just better ended. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sometimes. And then there are those like, I demand a rewrite.
All right, but any other things before we move on to either Carlos or me?
No.
Oh, we saw Turning Red.
Oh yeah, that's
yes,
right.
did you see it? Oh my god!
And finally, what is it? Encanto. That is now my favorite Disney movie of all time.
Yes.
It goes farther with that one than I do, but yeah, both are very good.
Yes, I definitely recommend both if you haven't watched those.
Yeah. Also, Turning Red. May is more lovable than Riley.
Yes,
Fight me, bro.
Made me cry. Both of them make me cry.
You said Riley? You said she's more lovable than Riley. Which one's Riley? Is that the boy?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Yeah.
Oh! Okay, no fighting.
Yeah, no, I think
here.
I haven't seen Red yet, mostly because I hate Disney. I don't want to pay for Disney Plus. It's
put aside. You have to put it aside for Turning Red. You must put it aside for Turning Red.
I'll find it on.
I think you would
something.
really relate to one of the background or extra characters. One of the girls. I think that's Ninja in Disguise, and you know who I'm talking about.
Is it Priya?
I don't have their names memorized. Who's that?
Yeah, I love it that they made the kind of The crazy thing is like they didn't have the crazy manic pixie goth girl. Instead, they had the East Indian girl have that kind of. No, she didn't have like that kind of like attitude of it, but she was like you could tell she was kind of the. She wasn't as animated as the rest of the girls, but yet she had her place there. Priya, she had her place. You definitely see it like whenever they do the beatboxing scene. Oh my gosh, it's the best. It's the best. But then you have everybody plays their part in it. And I could say definitely Abby, I think, is my spirit gal.
Yeah, you had the same with Second's mother.
Abby's my spirit gal. Like that, definitely.
The funniest, because I've seen clips though of it, and also have seen a lot of memes. And one of the funniest memes I've seen, which is like, oh no, is basically said like, oh yeah, like all the main girls of Turning Red, they're just like the children of like Mario and all the Mario, Luigi, and Waluigi, and all that. And then someone showed a picture like, oh my gosh, they color match.
Yes, it's true actually.
You gotta wonder.
You probably do, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, don't it?
It's things that make you go, Yeah, love Turning Red. Put aside whatever differences you have to just watch.
I'll see it eventually, but it's just I just won't probably see on Disney Plus.
That's
Have you
Um,
watched Encanto?
Not
I
yet.
haven't seen Encanto,
Oh,
Encanto
no,
yet.
you
I'm waiting for my
guys.
mother. I'm waiting for my mom to get back out of town so we can watch it
Oh,
together.
you need to
If-
watch it with your mom, yeah.
I am gonna actually. The crazy thing is my mom actually suggested us watch Turning Red, and I'll never forget this. She absolutely loved it as much as I did, and that meant
she's going
so
to
much.
love Encanto too.
As a matter of fact, she also suggested. I didn't even say anything. She suggested, let's see Encanto next. I was like, are you what? And she actually suggested that we see Encanto, and I was like, done. So I'm just waiting.
Yes.
I'm just waiting for her to get back out of town so we can sit down and watch Encanto together.
Just prepare tissues, and now you won't.
Well, you know what? I'm. I don't get tissues. I use my sleeve. I use my sleeve like a real woman.
Be ready to get our t-shirt then.
Fine. Fine. I've got my sleeve shirt.
Really long sleeve one.
I use my bare arm. I don't use Kleenexes or a t-shirt. I use my bare arm like a real woman.
Oh, no. Be ready to take a shower then.
I sanitize it afterwards, I promise. But I did that the same thing when Coco. I mean, Coco made me cry twice, and I had nothing but my hands, and I had nothing but my popcorn stained hands.
Oh no!
Get out.
Okay, Grandpa, I don't ever want to hear about how you used to walk 40 miles to school, or you had to shovel your way out of the driveway with a toothpick instead. I had to wipe my eyes with popcorn-soaked hands. Has beaten you.
It gets even better. Oh, it gets even better yet. In my day, we had to walk to the convention. We put all our costumes on. We had to walk towards the convention in the ice and the snow in our cute little cosplays twice.
Yeah, we're totally gonna be after Gen Z with stuff like that.
Oh man, you should have seen it at the Starbucks line.
You should have seen the lines in BronyCon.
Oh.
Talking about making a line con.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
And that is one of the reasons why I will never ever go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
Never,
I want to go
never.
so bad.
I will never.
I want to go
there.
once. Is like the thing.
Yes,
That's like the one thing
I
I would
just
like
once.
to go once.
Because like one of the YouTubers that I watched, original 151 is going every year, and I'm just like,
oh my god.
I just want 1 year so I can get his autograph, and may that year be the same year where if one of my favorite comic book artists is going to be there too. I'm just going. I'm like, we're going.
Nah, I the only way I will only go if I've made it in Hollywood and I'm like a famous voice actress or something, and I'm in like something and then
we will come and get your autograph, Jen.
and then I'll have like my entourage walk me through the annals of the secret tunnels of the con. That's the only way I'll go.
Yay.
Yeah, we gotta make the whatever Eminem's group's name. You gotta make their pact. First one to get famous has to come back for the others.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So we can all be sitting here forever.
That's perfect. That's perfect. But then watch this. I'll get distracted by some sort of crazy cosplay, and then they'll have to wheel me back in. They'll wheel me back in Dad, don't go out there. But the cosplayers, get back in the tunnel.
I'll just be like, just go.
I'll
probably go with you, being like, yeah, cosplay.
Okay, be funny. The one thing that I know that would happen, if I ever saw any group dress up as any of the Persona 5 personas.
Yeah. If we can ever coordinate it, we need to go to a con dressed up in cosplay, all of us.
Yes. Oh my
God.
God.
Who would
yes.
be team of
I don't know.
5?
I don't know. Oh my God.
You have a lot of choices.
There's so many.
We could be the characters from Encanto. I wouldn't mind that.
Nobody would recognize that.
No. Well, you never.
Are
you
you
know what?
trying to- Are you trying
The
to
only
be
character I
obscure?
think I could go at, and it would work would probably be Bruno.
Okay, guys. I have a seriously good suggestion right now.
What's that?
why not go as like the characters from Neo: The World Ends With You? If you want something, it's like a game that came out like last year.
I've heard of the world. I've heard of it. I don't know.
As long as the girls is not too skimpy, I'm in.
Oh no. No. One of them is literally just wearing like a long T-shirt, that just says you could do it in Japanese, and is a college student and is technically the oldest one out of the cast. Meanwhile, another one is wearing a kitty hoodie and literally wearing a dress underneath.
That sounds like me.
I have no idea. Like, there's so many. There are just so many like group characters.
Or we could do Pokemon characters. Like there, a lot of different things we could do. Well, next, before we run out of time.
Yeah, we'll have to think about this.
Yes.
Yes.
Plan this thing.
We'll have to plan this in secret.
Yes.
So let's be the Power Rangers.
Yes.
Oh! You want to talk about the Power Rangers? Oh yeah, like the current like Netflix season for like season 2 of Dino Fury. All right. So about that, let's just say we went from the idea of like, okay, the main villain of Void Knight is basically having a Hawkmoth / Mr. Freeze backstory for like why he's doing all this evil stuff. As it turns out, he's an alien from outer space who's had bad blood with humans all the way back 65 million years ago, back in the dinosaur age, which left his wife cryogenically like in a coma. And basically,
wow, okay.
And what that led him is to like do these atrocious acts just so he could be able to free his wife, just so he could be able to leave the earth in peace, not wanting to bother with humans anymore. But once he actually succeeds in his plan of unfreezing his wife, guess what? The wife goes all completely evil and wants to take revenge to the next level and actually wants to
Mr. Freeze again, yeah.
It's a reverse Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, in which the wife is the one that's actually the most evil.
Well,
actually, I think the comics did that with Mr. Freeze too.
Yes.
So he had to freeze her again.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Wow. And at that point, Mr. Freeze had no more adventures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lame.
Not before they rebooted the whole thing.
Lame. That would be such a bad way to end Mr. Freeze, because Freeze is my favorite Batman villain.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Batman yet, Jen?
Haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen it.
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Freeze, like Batman Beyond, probably did give Mr. Freeze a better ending than that. But the comics can't do that because then, like, I guess we're not about Batman anymore. We can never tell another Batman story because we fast forwarded to Batman Beyond.
I feel like the only way to let it end is like, well, if you have actual normal Freeze die, and then Freeze is like, nothing matters anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you see the Batman Beyond ending for Mr. Freeze?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best Batman Beyond episodes.
Yeah.
I need to like actually get to. I wish I could have given more time to Batman Beyond.
Watch it.
Well, I mean, the premise, right? Because
Netflix.
it's the future, and I think Batman the animated series, like, didn't the animated series itself end with Nora Freeze kind of moving on, and then Mr. Freeze's last arc is like, one, his disease possesses so far that he's just a head on a robot suit, and two, he's so bitter about that he just starts trying to ruin people's lives just so they're suffering like he is.
Oh, I hope not.
No, that was the second to last moment. But then the Batman Beyond episode happened, in which like
the Batman Beyond episode is okay. He's still ahead with his body, but despite the fact that his body got destroyed by his condition, he himself can't die. No, this is how it begins. The very first thing that happens is he can't die because his DNA has been warped in the same way that the main villain of Batman Beyond is. So the main villain's like, this Mr. Freeze, huh? Why don't we study him, see if we can experiment on him, and use him to help my condition. And but he has his assistant pose as someone who A, wants to help Mr. Freeze, wants to give him a body again, bring him back to the land of the living, as it were, and 2, who is interested in him. So yeah, they're playing Mr. Freeze, and the sad thing is, at first, it works. He thinks this is his second chance at life, and he's like, even people who are so mad at what he did in the past trying to kill him, he forgives them and refuses to allow like charges to be pressed against them. Like Mr. Freeze is serious about going straight, and the only one, including Terry, who doesn't buy it, and yeah, that is including Batman Beyond, the only one who doesn't buy it is Bruce Wayne, because he's seen
Bruce
like,
Wayne.
yeah, well, I mean, it's like the sad thing is Bruce, for the guy who's not the main protagonist in the series anymore, he ends up being right surprisingly often, and in this case, the reason he thinks there's no hope for Mr. Freeze is because he's seen like how vengeful Mr. Freeze can really be, like whatever the chance he might have lost for a better life, that whatever different reality there is where he turned out to be a good man, Bruce just thinks that that's gone, that's dead, and there is no hope for Mr. Freeze anymore.
At least not without Nora Freeze. I prefer.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer the one where I prefer the super mega happy ending, but that's just me. That's just me. I'm a romantic.
But
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
but like seriously though, but yeah, like going back to Dino Fury, basically like she becomes this Void Queen, basically takes over like the villain stick, then kidnaps her love after he's found out, like literally betraying their cause and literally helping the Rangers, and then basically becomes twisted and mutated into something called Void Knight, a Void King, and just like, and we're like left with like a cliffhanger of like, okay, so Void Knight literally was like helping us and didn't want to like destroy it anymore. And also they finally had darker implications for some of their plots now, including people undergoing a certain My Little Pony season 7 episodes dilemma. If you remember a certain thing about Fluttershy and Sakura.
I remember where she swapped bodies with Angel Bunny, but that's season 9.
That's season 9.
Shoot, which one was that? Oh, jeez, it's been so long. It's been so long. I forgot what it was.
Is it the Ponytoons one? What?
No. It's
that's
5. It's season 7, episode 20. A Health of Information.
Oh, that. Blah.
Which one was that?
Fluttershy has to find a cure, even as she's dropping dead from the same disease, and she refuses to allow anyone who is more likely to succeed at this goal to help her, not because they stand any chance of falling ill as well, but because it's her responsibility, and because then there wouldn't be a conflict.
Okay, fair enough.
Literally,
why do I not remember that one?
Literally, people were becoming trees because of contaminated water.
Yes.
Why do I not remember that one? Huh.
No, it's like a really forgettable episode.
Actually,
I wouldn't consider it forgettable. It's one of my top favorite episodes of the later seasons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my slight contempt. There are people who do consider it one of their favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just that kind of interesting episode, and the fact that we see like a sibling conflict, but now in Power Rangers, and it's actually implicated darkly about it happening to people. I'm like, including a father seeing their own kid becoming a tree right in front of his eye. And I'm just like, okay, Power Rangers, give me more. We're going back to the dark stuff again. Thank you. God. Took you forever, but now since you've finally left Nickelodeon, we can finally get back to the dark stuff that we appreciate from you when you did back in the Neo Saban, or from the Saban era.
The Saban era. The Saban era Power Rangers.
Yeah, how is Saban less cheesy in their original era than they were in the era of people scrutinizing these things a lot more?
Well, I think it was because of that, of them thinking like they have to go back to the old days, and also Nickelodeon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we gotta put some blame on Nickelodeon there, but But yeah, aside from that, also characterization has greatly improved, in which they hammered down on the good traits of the characters and made some very insightful morals for them, including the fact of like the Green Ranger, which is a girl, literally dealing with like an issue in which she threw away a dress that was made for her from her own mother, saying like, you know that I don't wear dresses. I'm not all about that because of all the times that you put me up in dresses since you were a fashion designer and such. Like, and then finding out that she accidentally switched the clothes that was given to her and her girlfriend, and like literally has to go into the dump in order to find her girlfriend's outfit.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also this is basically the first open gay relationship. Yeah, we finally get actual dates with the Green Ranger and her girlfriend. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Flippin'
yeah.
Power Rangers just lapped Disney on representation.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then also like her brother, the Green Ranger's brother, the Black Ranger, literally deals with like a conflict with his father, his father whose expectations or thoughts about like, why do you keep on switching instruments? Does it mean, don't you see how not serious you're taking life? Like, can't you just figure out a career and something for yourself? And then actually like see his performance and stuff, even though it's a bit rushed. Like, it's one of the better development episodes I've seen in recent memory for a Power Ranger season. In which a kid who's very gifted but is very wishy-washy about going for a full-on commitment on a dream finally gets the encouragement from their father to be like, if this is what you actually like to do, and maybe when you feel comfortable about it being like a career, I'll support you.
Why
Yeah,
does that
because like he was
sound
being
so
a bit
familiar?
selfish. He was being a bit selfish
Everybody
about
ever
it.
has had that problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that kind of makes sense if you're wishy-washy about something you're not sure if you can make it a career or not.
Or
That's a
even the
very
idea of
real.
a career.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, and then there's also the thing about the Red Ranger, who's an alien, who basically lashes out against Void Knight, just being like, "We don't want you at all," like just going off script and just being like super antagonistic, realizing like how similar they really were. Like he was endangering the world just for the sake of his own selfish desires and such, and he retaliated the most out of anyone. It's just like, okay.
Huh.
Okay, really think the drama here.
Drama.
Oh yeah, and then lastly but not least, the Gold Ranger, who acts like as an oddball, who's also an alien, basically catches like a bit of like the whole selfish bug from the Green Ranger, who's like can I maybe see like that tire cap? When she found it like in the woods, and she's like, no, finders keepers. But then when he finds like a suitcase in the wilderness, which has like stacks of money, then he copies the behavior from her and literally becomes like a spoiled guy for the episode. And it's literally, and you can only see this as like, this is your fault for literally teaching him about greed and selfishness, right? You literally messed him up. He was wanting to like possibly like see this thing, but you wanted to act selfish first, and it's like, yeah, both of you are in the wrong, but you're more in the wrong, Green. And in the end, like the Gold Ranger was literally giving out like all the stuff that he bought out to other people, even before the Green Ranger goes in to try to find him, because he realized how empty it all was.
Wow.
Like he was just doing it because of how upset he was over the Green Ranger's sense of like wanting to keep something for themselves,
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and then the last moment is when like, okay, this might be the moment in which cements Mucus, one of the villain's minions, to be my favorite minion post the Disney era.
His name is Mucus.
I was going to say.
Her name is Mucus?
Yes, in which she's a mushroom monster whose ability is literally just being goop when she's splattered. She's not very durable, but she's able to reconstitute herself constantly.
So she's the Blob from the Hulk. The Glob.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I was getting the Adventures of Alex Mack from there, but okay.
And basically, in the last episode, she basically participates via online web camera on like trying to do like a musical for like a talent show that like the BuzzFeed crew is doing like in their A plot, and everyone is just shocking out. But then the villains come in and say, "Hey, you didn't tell us about this competition," and literally just destroy her right in front of like the entire audience, making her into a splat, thereby canceling her entry.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, this is pure comedy. That's it, Mucus. You are legitimately top minion material.
Wow.
This is legitimately one of the best scenes I've ever seen. You might even give like dear old like Ninja Storm's baddies a run for their money for how funny you are.
Power Rangers hit its stride yet again.
Again?
Yeah, and all thanks to Netflix taking them up and making them into an online only series for season 2 and onwards.
Good plan, good plan.
So yeah. That's I guess this now became like what I personally experienced, and thankfully I watched through it all, so yeah.
So how about it?
How about it?
Yeah.
That bad guy named Mucus.
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 Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, and moving on from that, oh, by the way, I'm going to be posting a video in next week for like the Brave animated series, and also a video on Vanguard, Vanguard Zero, based on like the card art of one of my favorite cards of all time. So you should be expecting actual content from me. 2 videos even.
Woo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
This feels wrong.
This feels like a long time coming.
Yes. Aside from streams and such, I'm actually being active again.
Boy,
The rise.
Fixed and actually do something myself.
The rise.
Second.
Gator rises yet again.
I rise. I'm bringing out content, and it's going to be a 10-minute video, actually. Not a 5-minute video.
Return of the Croc. Yes, you said you'd never turn on me. You lied to me.
That's perfect. Return of the. There's your title. There's your title. Return of the Croc.
Return of the Croc.
That's perfectly Return of the Croc.
So, yeah, I think maybe are we all really good with like talking about like our daily life stuff now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, unless the ninja has something interesting.
Ninja?
Well, I mean, that's sort of what it's talk about media stuff and then what sort of adjacent stuff with your life, as long as it's not sort of too personal for.
No, I gotcha.
Hey, so now I got 2 kids and a mortgage.
Oh.
Hey. What?
Yeah, let's just move on.
Oh, wait, no, I'm a 30-year-old brony and I'm married to Daylover from Denmark. I'm sorry, I get confused sometimes.
I was about to say, where did those come
from? Did you adopt?
I was like, what happened? Did we just like get into a time machine or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, time forward machine.
And last time I checked there.
And when we went into the, instead of going into the past, we went into the future.
Yeah.
So how about it?
Derek, can I go ahead and spill all the deets on the spring anime yet?
Oh no, I need to go through my things before we go to news.
Yes.
That's why we were waiting.
But yeah, my quick summary is like I already mentioned, like I already finished Forbidden West. So I felt it was a good game. It gets so weird in some ways, but like that's just sort of like it gets more sci-fi-y as the story goes along. And overall, I found it a good game. Though, yeah, like I said, it's like the best advice I can say is like if you hit it like a rock wall, do not feel afraid to lower the difficulty to get over it because there's just some weird difficulty spikes. Like those giant robot mammoths. Yeah, the first time you accidentally fight one of those, it was not fun. The music was awesome for it, the background, but it was not fun. But after completing that, I worked on do some anime, but also getting back to Persona 5 Royal. all to say is I finished Dungeon 3 and wait. Yeah, I'm finished Dungeon 3, 4, and I'm moving on to 5. Oh, halfway done 5.
Wait. Halfway done through 5. Okay. You're just talking about Persona 5. You're not talking about Dungeon 5 yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I am talking about Dungeon 5, where it's where I'm actually in the dungeon with the new character.
Oh God, I feel so sorry for you. I feel so sorry for you, man.
Yes.
Wait, let me see which one.
Wait, is it Egypt or are we talking about something else?
Spaceship.
Okay, that's
yeah.
that
Yeah, that's the depressing one. That's the depressing one. You have
Alright.
my condolences. You have my condolences going through the worst dungeon of the entire game.
Yes.
You ready?
Well, that's concerning.
No, legitimately, just
You
trust
have been
me.
warned. You have been warned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something to think about. Because I was about to say, I was enjoying it so far.
That's good to hear if you're enjoying yourself there. I mean, if you enjoy yourself fully, then guess what? You'll be one of the rare people to actually say that.
Yeah.
So is it gameplay bad thing or story bad thing that's coming up?
When you hear that, you know there's trouble.
Yes.
It wouldn't by chance be one of those bad things where it's like, media is actually good now and not just in one-offs, so we are totally spoiled and are never grateful for anything anymore.
Or it's going to be both.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what's coming up is actually
I have that to
bad.
look for. Yeah, I have that to look forward to next time, apparently. But I will say, up to this, I am enjoying the new characters. With Queen and Oracle.
Awesome.
It doesn't feel like I said. That's one thing I sort of hate about the original first three. Is like the first three were all basically a variation of what am I looking for?
Well,
Airheads.
Oh yeah. Oh, you talk about the first 3 party members aside from Morgana?
Yeah. Even Morgana to some degree. Like Morgana's like better. Like it's all of them were such like airheads. Like so, it feels good to get some more competent members.
Oh, you're talking about Best Girl. You're just talking about Best Girl. Oh yeah, she's great.
Which is the best? Which
talking
is
about
the
Queen?
Queen, yeah. It's Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I like Queen. Yeah, I like Queen and
You're talking
Oracle.
about the Futaba, yeah. Yeah, by the way, in Japanese, her code name was actually Navi. But when they localized it, they were like, you know what? Why not name her after the most important character in the DC universe for information gathering?
Right, and that's exactly it's perfect. It's honestly perfect, and she's kind of and it works. It absolutely just works for her role, honestly. But here's the thing: when it comes to Best Girl, I stay out of that. I stay out of that rabbit hole.
The other thing is like with Royal, like actually, if really like I forget what's her name, the gymnast.
Oh, Yoshizawa.
Yoshizawa. Yeah, it's Yoshizawa.
Honestly, I guess. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna get in for Best Girl, but Yoshizawa. But I gotta tell you, Yoshizawa is kind of. If I had to have one, she's almost in my running. Best Girl. She's almost in my running.
Yeah, because I really am liking like her interaction and like the fun surprise like involving her with like one of the trips. That legit surprise, like what the hell? Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I'm like enjoying it so far. When sort of ominous now with all this talk about the other half of Fifth Dungeon. So.
Oh yeah.
Concern. Because to give you reference, I just got the part where I'm trying to figure out which one was the boss to get the pass card, and then.
Wait a minute. you don't have to worry about the story then. If you're already halfway through there, yeah, you've been through the worst of it already.
Oh, you're better off than you thought you were. Hey,
Yeah,
It's like I said, I'm in the dungeon and past the Oh, are you talking about the drama where they split up and all that?
Yeah.
They do the My Little Pony movie.
Yeah,
AKA,
it's worse. It's worse.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is hard
that's
to
what you're
believe.
talking about, and I agree. It was frustrating. I was literally like, pick up already so I can get in this freaking dungeon and move forward. Oh, Morgana was more of a drama queen than Queen and the Pharaoh that's going.
You know what? Yes.
Yes. Do you now understand what I mean by worst part? You literally did not need to do
All
that.
right, that relieves stress because I was worried some big bad plot twist is about to happen. It's like, oh no, am I going to basically get like the chapter 13 in Final Fantasy 15, which is this long dread for like 2 hours. I remember that chapter by number for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Now that we fully vented out our thoughts about the worst part of Persona 5 in general, like legitimately, just know that everything afterwards is legitimately the climax.
Correct.
Honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was just so tedious. Like, okay, we know how this is going to end. Like,
I know.
that cliche has been done so much, and nothing is worse than when they act like it's deep for no greater reason than they think acting like it's deep makes it so. See, look at how sad the music is, 'cause she said something mean to me.
yeah, it's to give you reference. It's basically the Spike character that had this thing. So,
Oh God. Just you really have to do it to me, huh? Compare Morgana with Spike, huh? Oh yeah.
No, Spike doesn't deserve that. Spike doesn't deserve that.
but I just mean by like basically the younger, like I think his character might be older. I'm not sure. But yeah, like this sort of like the more junior version of like who's sort of like has masculinity concerns and all that. He's like, oh, it's like I'm being ignored and all. Yeah, it was so frustrating, especially the chase through the mementos, where like it's like that was the point where it's like, okay, this is really unnecessarily tedious. Like it really wasn't that long. Like all of this in general was probably like an hour or two. And that was between other stuff, so it's not the worst drain, especially since this game's like going to be 100 hours long. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can handle plots like that when it's like, okay, it's something they actually would fight about, and it's like, okay, they don't like.
To be fair,
there is a get over it factor in there. They don't just act like it. Yeah, like what Daredevil season 1 where Foggy Nelson is appalled that his law partner who he's idolized actually takes the law into his own hand that way. He just and like at first that like there's hints that they might do he just doesn't get it plot, but then it's like they disagree here, but they try to work with each other. Like again, there's a get over it factor in there to an extent, and plus like okay, they're talking about doing stuff that's illegal when they're lawyers. I mean, that at least makes sense to fight about. Like, okay, yeah, if you guys had... Matt, you lied to me! Like, that had been the plot until he needed to, like, extensively apologize for that. I'm like, no, I don't care how good the Kingpin's performance here is. You guys have struck out.
Yeah, to give some credit to Morgana though, Ryuji was being a big idiot again.
Yes, Ryuji is the type of guy that you would want to have around, but at the same time, never give him any confidential information ever. Because for the sweet love of God, he will spill out all the beans, even if he didn't mean to.
Yep, that's the one flaw. That is the one flaw about him. He will throw hands for you, he will throw hands for you and he will defend you. The problem is he just can't. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, you're right. He has a big mouth and a bit of a short temper.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Exhibit A,
yeah.
the Queen situation.
Yes, correct.
But yeah. It also, like I was gonna say, like it's like just when he got over that, like then when we're like going into the fifth palace, they have like when they first sort of reintroduced who Noor is in the background, like Bruges is just like blabbering out. I was like I wanted to reach through the screen and smack him.
Oh yeah. But also one thing, I feel like they kind of shortchanged Noir. You know, I really.
God.
That is the one thing that Persona 5 like kind of gets wrong. We don't get a proper introduction. There's still some unanswered questions with Noir, you know.
Yes.
There's still some unanswered and didn't get a proper reintroduction, I don't think. Yeah.
Even in Royal now, like even though they try to add some additional cutscenes, like if you noticed her earlier, that was added.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's the one thing that's hard to tell with Royal is like there are some things you can tell and add like pretty much whenever with the gymnast, I forget her name.
Yoshizawa.
Yeah.
Which felt like naturally like rather introduced well, but like there's some things I just can't really tell. Yeah, it's interesting. So you have to go through that and like actually I like Noir.
Noir's not the problem. It's just everything that surrounds her introduction that was the problem.
Agreed. Yeah, we don't feel like she was introduced properly.
Yeah, that's an issue with this. Like, I'm going in because there's still a few more people I know we need to add to the group. Oh, and for reference, my Phantom Thieves are called Fairy Tale.
Nice.
That works.
But yeah, like I know there's a few more to be added, but like the downside I know, like which is with those getting added later is that you just don't get as much time with them. I do appreciate with Persona, unlike other RPGs, even though the characters aren't in your party at the moment, they are with you, so you aren't missing any story elements. They're always with you, which is very appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not like a Fire Emblem in which if you don't pair up these two particular party members together, you might miss story segments.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good to know. If I ever start Fire Emblem.
Which will probably start with Three Houses just because of how popular that game series is.
What, Three Houses?
Yeah, Three Houses will probably be your best gateway in.
Got it.
But yeah, besides Persona 5, which we'll get back to tonight. The good thing with like doing like farming coffee for like kindness upgrades is like I have a crud load so I can get through a dungeon in like a day. Yeah, I have so much coffee. Besides that, the other two animes I've been watching, I watched like the first season because there's more to go back to, but I wanted to finish something else first. I'm gone back to the old classic anime I meant to watch for a while, making sure I pronounce it right, even though it's easy. Is Maho Romantic? Maho Romantic. I want to say Raho Romantica, but it's Maho Romantic. It's like for the Robot Maid anime from like 2003.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a class. Yeah, it's on high dive because I have that, so I'm going through that. And it's like, yeah, this is heartwarming, and also like this like early 2000s anime is very distinct, in sort of weird and unique ways. And it's like, yeah, this is very classic, and I have more to go back to. And then the other anime, which I should finish up today or tomorrow, is the second season of Restaurant in Another World.
Yay! How are you enjoying that?
I love that show so much. Like you literally can't watch it when you're not eating dinner or lunch or something. That's very dangerous, but it is a very good show. Like I like to compare that to like I like to very much compare that show to Interspecies Reviewers, where like it very much is a slice of life, like grounded in like piece that sort of explores characterization through like just slice of life natural interaction. Well, this is more drama, where Interspecies Reviewers is more comedy, if that makes sense.
Nice.
But yeah, just to give it, if you haven't heard of it, Jen, it's basically an anime where it's like a restaurant. A Western style restaurant in Japan once every 7 days on Saturday will basically become a gateway to another world, and
Oh.
like people from that world will go there and just can eat, dine, and all that.
Oh, that sounds like fun. That
So,
sounds
like I
really.
said-
That sounds really good. I may have to check that out myself.
Yeah, it's very cool and interesting anime, and also, but like I said, to warn you, you will want to be eating something while you're watching it, or you will end up eating something while you're watching it.
I usually eat when I watch something anyway, so I'll just have to make sure I have a big old 4-course meal.
Sure. So.
Alright.
Well, time to get
Same
DoorDash.
Food Warsy appeal, like how food at a high level works.
Okay, I saw the preview of that about the meat.
Like anime over the top entertaining.
I saw the preview.
No, but
there was a woman who got like, okay, she had a certain reaction to meat juices.
Yes.
So, and I was like,
Yeah.
in the world.
unlike that, like
gone
yeah,
too
unlike Food Wars, this is real actual like cooking techniques and all that, where it's like a more restaurant. The fantasy
it's Food
aspect
Wars.
comes from it's like what?
What are you talking about? There's like some of the things that they make in there is how you make it in real life too.
In Food
I know,
Wars.
but like
Yes.
yeah, but I'm talking about like how Food Wars can be very shoji.
Oh yeah, I meant
Shoujin,
like
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is like very like well, this is more of a mellow like actual like
Oh,
the
so
cooking
it's
is
more
like
like
very
come down.
grounded. The
That
cooking
makes
is
more
grounded.
sense.
That yeah, the weird like the fantasy comes from the people coming from there.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a very interesting show. I do highly recommend, but also recommend do not. It's basically a dinner show you have to watch.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just
I
make
will
sure.
say
I'll just make sure I get like a big old 4-course meal or a giant pizza, and then I'll just watch it.
I will say Food Wars was one like you could have just mistaken it for a portrayal of how chefs see themselves while making all of these intense decisions until they got to the last season, and there's stuff like the what's her name mixing meringue with a chainsaw, and just like
Sold. Okay, you know what? Sold. Mixing meringue with the chainsaw. Sold. I need to watch it. Okay.
But,
Tell me if
I was
if you
turned
do
off
and if you
when I
like
read the
it.
meat.
Food Wars. Yeah.
At first, I was turned off of it when I saw the meat juice reaction, and now that you have said, and now you have brought me back with meringue, with chainsaw stirring, with chainsaw that's stirring meringue, I'll be like, okay, never mind, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the last season. There were some interesting cooking superpowers, let me say.
Yes.
There's also on YouTube. There's something on YouTube in which there's actually some student actually animated this. They actually animated like an actual technique of like how about creating ramen, and I guess it would seem like it like I don't know if it's how an actual like ramen shop actually does it, but everything looks legit and everything looks just amazing and it amazing. I don't know what it's called, but it's like making anime foods or something. I don't know what it is, but it's actually the animation is absolutely Studio Ghibli quality, and the emotions they go through. It's just amazing to watch, and it will make you hungry. I don't
Alright,
remember the
but,
title. I don't remember the title, but if you can, I don't know, just like Google it somewhere on YouTube or whatever, you'll find it eventually.
all right, but I guess it's time we were to the actual news. Carlos, do you want to start it?
Yes. We'll go ahead and start talking about a certain new anime has been announced.
Anime.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm being a smart aleck. Go ahead.
Yes, a new anime has been announced with a similar cast of characters that you've grown familiar of. Whether to say, I don't know if you whether love these characters or you loathe them is another story, actually, for this tall tale of a series that's been criticized to no end by critics.
Criticized in what?
Criticized and like loved to like a no end. Like basically, Rooster Teeth's own Ruby is getting the anime treatment from Studio Shaft in 2022 in the form of an anime adaptation done by Gen Urobuchi called Ice Queendom.
Huh.
So We have a trailer. We have a trailer for this.
Not bad.
And it looks like a lot of scenes from like book one of like of the scene, but also some new screenshots, including one of Weiss looking like, how should I put this gently? She looks like the ice girl from Agami Ka Kill. If you know that anime.
Isada. I think her name's like Isada. Something like that.
Asdef. That's it. It's Asdef. It's Asdef.
Yeah, I remember it's because of the very like sort of stupid name.
But yeah, it's and also Blake is looking 100% more cat-like in the form she has a tail now. So yeah.
I mean, it is Japan.
It's Japan. It's Japan. They couldn't just leave it at the ears. They had to fully necofy her. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm definitely gonna look out for. I've watched RWBY all the way up to the end of Volume 8, and I have some grievances about the writing. Some major grievances about the writing. Doesn't mean I will denounce the series. But at the same time, it's not really that good when it comes to like emotional character writing of stuff that should make sense. So I just hope like these writers this time will actually do the character concepts and world justice and actually make the Grimm an actual credible threat and not just fodder. Because god dang it, there's been too much of Grimm just being fodder, and only once were they truly terrifying. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Oh yeah, and also the fact that it's 2D and it's not 3D. That's also a big change.
Yeah.
Basically, a reverse version of Ladybug.
Yes. What Ladybug should have been at the beginning, but then they became 3D. Oh yeah, by the way, since you brought out Ladybug, I could go ahead and talk to you about season 4 because they aired the last episodes.
So moving on to the next topic.
Oh my god, RWBY did not scare you, but the Ladybug fandom scares you, second?
Hey, no, it just seemed like a good punchline in the moment.
Okay, because honestly, yeah, I mean, Ladybug probably has a bit more controversial writers than Rooster Teeth. Let's just say. And also the fact that they're losing one of their best animation studios now and only dealing with like the worst animation studio they have for season 5 and onwards is like a depression that the fandom will never get over of now.
How could this happen to me? Got nowhere to run.
Life goes on and they tear it away. But seriously, oh yeah, Ladybug ended with a tear-jerking cliffhanger.
So it did.
In which the heroes finally lost. Hooray! It's like the biggest change to the status quo now, in which the main villain actually has most of the powers, except for the main 2 characters. Because of a stupid mistake Ladybug did, because her dreamboat love interest has an evil twin cousin. Yes, you heard me right. Evil twin cousin.
Yeah, it's happened before.
I did not say brother, I said cousin. It's really weird. And there's a theory in the fandom in which they might not actually be real people, but magical constructs. Which is weird, but yeah. At the very least, we end the season off with the main character Ladybug suffering from a panic attack right in front of her true love, and it's like, oh my god, this is legitimately happening. And the funniest part of this is like the villain did all of this, tried to do this scheme in order to try to get the main characters to do a risky move because they never really take risks that the villain could capitalize on, or whenever they make mistakes, they had two powerful miraculouses that literally can undo mistakes involving time travel or time loops.
Oh, that's convenient.
Do you see what we're talking about when we say we're trapped in a status loop, a status quo, because the axis of those powers. But now we no longer have those powers. It's now on the villain's side. But the villain is so incompetent that will probably not use them effectively. So yeah, that's really the thing going on here with Ladybug. Like, the evil twin cousin makes himself a better villain than the main villain of the entire series in just 3 episodes.
Yeah, that happened before too.
That sounds kind of like what Last Jedi wanted to do.
Yeah.
Until Disney said, we have some notes.
The mouse, the big boss, the mouse says, this. The mouse received his orders from the cryogenically frozen head.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Gotcha.
Wait. Here we go. The head boss says. The head boss says, we have some notes. And then the mouse is like, don't look at me. I take my orders from the head boss. Kill me sometimes. Okay.
So
there's that.
Yeah, so aside from like that diatribe into Ladybug news of all things, let's go ahead and talk about spring anime.
Spring anime.
Yeah, spring anime such as Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 is coming out.
Every day.
One of the most gripping isekai stories in which we had one of the best payoffs to a revenge story.
Mine.
Yeah.
Mine. Oh.
Yes.
I have never enjoyed revenge so much. But at the same time, part of me still wanted her pretty little head to roll.
Yeah, well, going on. Going to another isekai favorite, Ascendance of a Bookworm 3rd season's coming out. Heyo.
You mean that, is that thing I saw Bennett the Sage review where, like, the, cute girl with, like, reading-related superpowers and, it never says it outright, but it seems like she has a thing for the librarian she's learning from, and I don't know, am I warm or cold?
I think it's something else because this is a newer anime. I don't think Sage really does those.
No, and also there's no librarian character yet. It's just it's like a girl who reincarnated from a girl in the real world who died from like collapsing a bookshelf. And she just wanted to be able to read books and is able to access magic and is being raised right now as of season 2 as being a priest character just so she can gain access to like a storage of books like that the priests are able to gain access to.
Doesn't that kind of sound like that episode of the Twilight Zone?
This actually that sounds more
like...
like...
was read books and they end up Twilight Zoned.
That sounds more to me like Rod the anime.
Well, I mean that sort of is a thing, but it's basically she gets transported into a relatively realistic Middle Ages world where books are rather rare. So,
yes.
So, and she is not noble. So her entire initial concept is to let me invent paper so we can make our own books.
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like exactly like that Twilight Zone episode, but if it had kept going.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the first season was her acting as an entrepreneur. Second season is her being raised by the church. and third season is continuing off of that plot line. But yeah, but now she's met with the character who's been narrating since the very beginning, of like her story all the way back from the beginning, like reading her mind and learning all about like where she came from and why she has all these skills and such.
Reading her mind, you say?
Oh no!
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I didn't intend to make a JoJo's reference, but I did. Oh dang, my Rohan Kishibe jokes.
But it was Gator.
Yeah, like thing is like what's that? I forget the bookworm. Like this anime is good, but like it's also a slower pace, so just sort of be aware of that going in. It does get more as the series goes along into the fantasy aspect of this and also the politics. But it's like this is basically obviously like the first season of something bigger, so it's just a lot of building for the first season.
Yeah. So okay, now going over to children's card game, the side of the anime.
Also, just want to toss one more anime. You're still sticking on anime?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, I thought you were going to card game. Yeah, you can continue first.
No. You bring out like the anime that is still a part of like the current animes that are going to be airing like in spring that are mature. Like, go ahead, do that.
No, I was just going to mention like I don't really know much about it, but like it's still scheduled for April 8th to air in some way. Is the second season of Tiger and Bunny is going to be on Netflix. Which the original one came out like 2010 or something.
No, 2011. It was 2011.
And so yeah, there's been a long wait for this even before like this was like I think scheduled for this year even before the pandemic started. It was like long and wait. Yeah, it's sort of like if you haven't watched, it's basically a very grounded, realistic like if superpowers actually existed. So it's a lot based around the basically reality TV superhero show. With heroes trying to outscore each other and having their own character flaws because of it.
Yeah. And let's just,
also a lot of promotion. Also a lot of depending on which version you're watching because of licensing, a lot of promotional material and all the heroes' armor.
Like race cars.
Yep.
Like Pepsi was a sponsor for this anime.
What, Pepsi?
And Amazon.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
When we mean like sport, like race cars, we literally do mean those bumper stickers, like on the vehicles. They are on their hero costumes.
Wow.
Which, that's what I said, depending on version, because I think the Netflix version of season 1 removed those. That's from our hearing. But like, yeah, if you see clips, you can see like it is rather prolific and like a very like I like it just because it's so real in that way.
Yeah, I mean, like we can't even fault the companies because you're helping it make it feel authentic. You're making us sell a product. Free advertisements with these characters as well. But yeah, Tiger and Bunny is definitely like the earliest superhero anime of the modern era, before One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. So if you haven't watched it before, check out the first season and then check out the movie. Then watch season 2, because by then you'll have the full context. And which movie I'm talking about? It's the second movie. It's not the first movie. The first movie is just a recap of everything in the anime.
Yeah, I think the first movie has like only like 10 minutes of like actual new stuff. The rest is just like recap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the other movie is definitely a lot better. But okay, but continuing on now, we're going over to the children's card game anime section of here for spring anime stuff. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! 7th is ending.
Hey, second, better notify those 2 kids.
Yeah. So Yu-Gi-Oh! 7th is ending after a 92 episode limit, the shortest a Yu-Gi-Oh! Season has ever been. Aside, if you don't count Capsule Monsters. Because if we do count Capsule Monsters, it will be the second to least. the second to last shortest Yu-Gi-Oh anime arc. Oh no, wait, then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sequel. Never mind. Let's just say the smallest long Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Boy.
Yeah, but
Those fans are in the largest minority.
it's basically like Yu-Gi-Oh!
The
7.
greatest terrible thing. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I gotcha. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 in the end, after all it did, not even including like my thoughts about the final episode, it's a show that feels like it's a complete package. It did not shortchange anything. It might have dragged a bit in like a little bit of parts here and there, but every single part that it included was meant to be a part of a cohesive community, even more than what Zexal had before. I say it's a more concise version of Zexal, but not as serious as Zexal ended up becoming. So if you like comedy with like a Yu-Gi-Oh series, then 7th is the best option, even more than the 4Kids dub of the original Yu-Gi-Oh or Yu-Gi-Oh GX.
Well, there was actually comedy in those things?
Oh,
well, in the
God.
first one, it was mostly unintentional.
But then the second one, oh boy, those meat sandwiches.
Meat sandwiches?
Actually, there were a
Egg
couple
roaches,
bits of
egg
comedy in the original Yu-Gi-Oh that weren't bad.
Mhm.
Not great, but yeah. I think most of them involved picking on Joey.
The forever comic relief, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's case, the Joey of this series ended up being the one that was the most undefeated.
Huh.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, legitimately did not lose, like, important matches. And it was insane. And the only times in which he lost was when he was mind controlled by a superhero alter ego he created called Luke Man.
Ah.
Yeah, to be fair to OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Series in the manga, Joey, I mean, he's still, like, it still doesn't portray him as any really better at the card game itself, but his character, he's less Kuwabara and more Urameshi.
Ooh.
He spent, like, the notorious Season 0, that the reason there was a Season 0 is because that's how the manga started. I guess somebody tried to do that at one point. I never looked up on it, but yeah, Joey spends that whole season being the muscle of the group and, being the part, like, if there is a part where they can solve it physically, he's always the one to step in and do it, and, yeah, more about his really rough backstory, and, less than Father of the Year father. And, that scene in the anime, where Joey, like, finds Bandit Keith waiting for them at the at whatever it was, and he's like, this is the guy who just tried to trap them in a cave, so Joey tries to beat him up, and Bandit Keith is so much bigger and stronger, he doesn't even take it seriously. He's laughing at Joey.
Bandit Keith.
All that. The guy with the flag on his head, Bandit Keith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard. Okay, I was thinking of a reviewer's storyline, but okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, the manga version is that fight happens when when Yugi catches Bandit Keith trying to steal Joey's card, and they never spot that that's what he was actually trying to do, but they do. But Yugi does catch him, so then Bandit Keith starts beating the heck out of Yugi to keep him quiet, and then Joey wakes up and catches him, and then Joey beats the hell out of Bandit Keith, is how that goes.
Okay.
And then it turns into a scene about how Yugi is starting to feel bad about having everybody, including his alter ego, have to protect him, and one day he wants to be strong enough for, as strong as all of them, including his alter ego, and character setup, what's that? But, anyway. The anime did cut a few things out.
Mm-hmm. So like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's ends, but the next series that is going to replace Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's is a direct sequel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. in
Oh,
which
wow.
this time the protagonist is an actual alien.
Okay.
Secondly, the story takes place in the same city, but it's renamed to Metsuba City, like 40 to 50 years in the future. Like 40 years in the future, basically.
Huh. Wow.
Everyone has grown quite old. And aside from the alien Udius, the side companions for Udius are the offspring of the main character of Seven's, Yuga Odo.
Oh, wow.
Twins. One boy and one girl.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah. And the main idea for this show is trying to prevent alien invasions. In which, like, Udius comes from, like, a faraway world, which undergo a giant civil war, which ended up in its destruction, and the war is slowly being brought over to Earth now.
Ah.
Yes. And he views dueling as, like, a means of combat, similarly to how Yusaku did in Reigns. So we're dealing with another serious-based protagonist here.
Gotcha.
With the setup of that movie Galaxy Quest.
Wow.
Really so good.
Look
You
at
just
that shot.
burned everything
Look at
with
that
that joke.
I'm not even the first one to make that joke.
I think you are the first one to reference Galaxy Quest. But yeah. But yeah, like this series is looking to be quite interesting in the fact that we're going back to the ace monsters being normal monsters, not effect monsters anymore.
Oh.
Ah.
Now that's different.
Yes.
Look at that.
No longer you have to look at an ace monster and be like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to remember its effect all the time. I have to use it. Oh no, wait, it's a 25,000 beat stick. Boom, you're dead.
Oh.
I wonder what the game even would be if it had, like, stuck to, that relatively basic. I mean, the nuances of victory would probably be a lot smaller.
Yeah. But now then, moving on from, like, Yukio's seventh successor, the next anime that's getting a reveal is Shadowverse Flame. Oh boy! Remember when I talked about Shadowverse the anime?
No.
In this podcast?
No.
If none of you guys remembered, let me remind you. Oh, this might look interesting when I first saw the previews of it. Hopefully it's actually good. Few episodes in. Oh my god, this is the most generic anime I've ever seen for a card game anime. Oh my god, please let it stop. Please stop giving me this main character who's always hypergenic about the card game. Please let it end. Few more episodes in. I'm only watching this show because the girls are the only good thing about it. Everything else sucks.
Ah, gotcha.
And when I say the girls are the best part, I mean like as an emotional character story about an idol girl who has to hide her true self from everyone because the producers don't like her showing like disgusting monsters being played, even though she appreciates those more than the cutesy wootsy stuff that they force her to play in her card games.
Oh.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other girl is like the grass user who's just like, I'm just the most average girl as it can be. I'm not really like that good and such. Like, and I wish to be as good as you, idol girl. Like, I wish I could be like as awesome as you. But then the idol girl's like, no, you're really great. Like, don't devalue yourself just because like I'm a famous idol or anything like that. You have your own merits.
Oh, how
like,
nice.
You just have to find them. Like, and then they become like the best of friends after a few episodes, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just following the anime because of these two. The plot, whatever, is not really interesting, even if it's about like the main character's parents literally being involved in a world-ending scheme and such.
Ah.
So that was just bleh.
That's just a little meh, huh?
Yeah. The only reason why I'm bringing up Shadowverse Flame, even though I have so much negative stuff to say about the original Shadowverse, they're taking the buddy fight approach in this one. they're having cute little animal buddies right next to the main characters. So this is implying a different universe.
Oh.
I am willing to give this another shot if this universe does not act the same way as the other universe. Because I don't want to go through the same issues.
Okay. Hope it's a better run.
Yes, I'll let you guys know if it disappoints me immensely.
And then you will never go back.
Yeah, because like I was only willing to give you one more chance because you have cute little animal companions. You seem like to be in a different universe because this does not seem like the same universe, even though it has the same art style.
But give it a shot and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so anyone else have anything to add about for like
Yes.
recent news stuff?
Yeah, similar stories, but also one more anime thing to sort of like looking forward to. There's an anime that inspired me to sort of jump onto manga before the anime came out is, the new hot anime for the new hot anime that's new for the spring season is going to be like Spy X Family, and I started reading the manga and it is adorable.
Oh wow!
All right.
I just saw a screenshot of it. What's that about?
It's about essentially a spy gets put on a mission where he has to have a fake family. And yeah, it's basically a spy, an assassin, and a telepathic little girl. And only the telepath really knows everyone else's secrets. So they're trying to keep, it's basically like a cute version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
No Brangelina, I hope.
But yep. And yeah, I started reading a manga of that just because like it looks so good, adorable. I was like, okay, I have to check it out. And sort of seems to be like the big new or like I don't want to say original because it's based off a manga and all that, but like original anime compared to like Shield Hero, which is season 2 of, and same with the Ascendance of a Bookworm and Tiger and Bunny. Yeah, that's sort of the next sort of hot one to look out for. It's on Crunchyroll, which actually brings me on to the news story, which is, so let me see. Might as well go into that Crunchyroll one first. Yeah, Crunchyroll is slowly getting rid of their ad-supported simulcast things, where if you weren't aware, like with Crunchyroll, you could watch their stuff, their seasonal anime that they're like simulcasting, but it would just be like 2 or 3 episodes behind. They're going to be getting rid of that, transitioning away from that, which is odd because they seem to be keeping ads of some kind, but also making everything go over to like a subscription model. Again, I brought this up before with the Funimation, the one eating Crunchyroll or Crunchyroll eating Funimation. This is very much more like Funimation style, like you're paying for, you have paid subscription is how you're supposed to view it, not with ad support, which is like what Crunchyroll has as an option.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's something that it's sort of weird because I said it's a transitionary and there seem to be older stuff is going to keep ad options, but like newer stuff won't. I don't know if that just means they will eventually have ad options, but be like 1 or 2 seasons down the road it gets it, or if they're just going to get rid of ads and everything's going to be paid subscription.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you can do now. You can just get a paid subscription, not watch ads. But they always had an ad-supported option, which I think I even joked about. Like if you go on Crunchyroll's ads right now, half the ads are just for other Crunchyroll shows.
Well, it almost makes sense.
Yeah, that's the one of the news stories, and then I guess continuing from that, which is on the Sony front, is we don't know exactly yet, but like extremely strong rumors suggest that Sony's answer to Xbox's Game Pass, their new PlayStation subscription service, is going to be launching or being announced next week, or since it's Sunday, we're recording this week.
Okay,
know
who's
is-
watching Mr. Rogers?
There is no Mr. Rogers.
Started out with the same riff as him.
That's weird.
Might have been a parody or something like that too.
Maybe. Whoops.
But yeah, that's the thing is like Sony's big Game Pass thing, which we don't know specifics yet, but the strong rumors from like industry insiders is there's going to be 3 levels of it. The first one being basically what PlayStation Plus is now. Then they're going to work other things in. What exactly we get, we don't know. All the things we do know is there's a 99% chance like it's not going to have like day one releases of Sony titles like Xbox Game Pass has for Xbox titles.
Mhm.
Sony wants to still primarily sell you their games, their PlayStation Studio games.
Ah.
So what else they do to make it worth a subscription, we still don't fully know yet. All we know is this extremely strong rumor something is going down this week.
Gotcha.
And then the last, it's sort of news because it's entertainment, but sort of a theme park thing. It's sort of a down note to end on.
What is the best part about Mario Party? Playing with your friends and some occasional randoms thrown in there to allow games to be even for all
Oh,
players.
It's a Mario
sorry.
Party.
Oh, sorry. It's a countdown in the background. My bad. Let me
Oh my god.
Let me mute my mic.
Oh my god, a countdown? Wow. I haven't heard that in a long time.
It's actually
Going
a YouTube video of like best. Sweetie, what is it? Mario Party games in the best? Sorry. I guess it is like best Mario Party things.
All right.
Okay.
All right. This is sort of my last news story, which I was saving because it sort of is a downer thing to end on. But it is sort of entertainment related because it's in theme parks, and I've been talking about that lately. But unfortunately, like I think it was Friday or Thursday night. I think it might have been Thursday night. There was an incident on the drop tower in Icon Park in Orlando.
Yeah, I
And-
heard about this.
Yeah, a 14-year-old fell out of the restraints on coming down the world's tallest freestanding drop tower. Which what that means is like there's actually a taller drop tower. It's in the one that's attached to the world's tallest roller coaster. But this is like the tallest drop tower that's just by itself.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he fell from his restraints and died.
Jeez.
We don't really know the specifics yet, but it's probably some might say operator error, but from what I've seen of this case, it seems to be more of the drop tower itself had 2 potentially design flaws. One is unlike pretty much any other drop tower, doesn't have a backup restraint.
Wow.
Like, most drop towers usually have the main, like, over-the-shoulder restraint, and then they have a seatbelt that's usually over your, like, waist, or a seatbelt that's basically attached to the restraint itself, so holding the restraint in.
Right.
This just had its over-the-shoulder restraint. There was no seatbelt at all.
Oh my gosh.
Like, who would go in that? Like, I would be like, no.
It gets sort of worse because this is also like a drop tower that actually leans you like when you get.
Oh my god, no. No wonder.
No.
So what seems to happen is he fell loose near that, like when it tipped forward. Then when it hit the like brakes at the bottom, that put enough force to like slide him out.
Oh jeez.
Well, they said he fell like hundreds of feet, didn't he?
No, it seems he was only technically free of a thing, but like when you're going 75 miles an hour on the actual ride, but you slide free of the restraints, even though you only aren't in a car for like 50 feet or so, you still have like the momentum from like dropping down from the tower.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The news station I heard it on said hundreds of feet, but that might have just been the sensationalist terms because
it is a 400-foot drop tower. But from what I've like, because I watched the footage myself because I would prefer not to, because there's a lot of like because this is a very popular like photogenic Snapchat thing, so there was a lot of video recording this. But it seems like he only technically fell completely free right around like when the drop tower hits like the little slowing brakes, the magnetic brakes, that like where it basically hits that puff of air and stops. That seems like he got loose when it tipped forward, and then when he hit that, he slid through. And we don't know the specifics yet, but like from what I've seen, like I said, the one design flaw potentially is like this one did not have any sort of seat belt, which most drop towers have 2 restraints of some kind. Which this one's very abnormal not to.
It sounds really unsafe, yeah.
And then the
Hey,
other
can I
issue,
borrow your height sickness for a second?
Yes, you can have all of it.
and then the other issue was like that seemingly the video
you wouldn't have gone in it if you saw that there was no restraints in it.
I mean, I would have assumed that these people know. I mean, these things are so rare, but the fact that somebody did mess up that much is like, jeez.
Yeah.
And then the other like potential design issue is the restraint. Seemingly from the video confirms that it was given basically the green light that it was locked down enough.
Wow.
If you look at the video, like the guy, it doesn't really. It's not because he's sort of a heavy set 14-year-old. He was in the Stern football thing. So he's a 14-year-old, but he was like 6'5" and like 300 pounds, something like that. So like it didn't fit him, lock him in as tightly as normal, and you could sort of see this in some of the videos. But the machine still gave the green light to go. So that's why I say there's potentially 2 design flaws with the machine itself, regardless of like operator error and all that. So that's why this one might be more interesting. Interesting is a weird word because another drop tower incident happened in September where a 6-year-old wasn't secured in when it fell. Which that one was more operator error because the machine specifically said this seat's not latched right. 2 different people went through and inspected it and like checked the latch, but they didn't actually check. Make sure the seatbelt is actually around the 6-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one I would say is like that one's I would say more on the operator side because the machine basically stopped twice to say like this is something wrong with the seat, and they 2 different operators inspected it and then checked for the actual that she was sitting on the seatbelt. Which that's like one of the fundamental things you would check if like there's a that one's the case where I blame the ride operators more. But this one, it seems to be potentially a design flaw in the machine itself with the lack of a secondary restraint and also the over-the-shoulder restraint sensor system saying, oh, this is fine. It was not fine, obviously.
Yeah, the world is a depressing place sometimes.
Truth.
So those were just opinions based on like I've seen. We don't know the specifics yet. Those will probably come out in the coming days or weeks. The only good side of all those videos about is it should make the investigation easier. But yeah, it's a unfortunate set of incidents. But yeah, that just that's just I felt it sort of need to talk about it overall.
Right.
Boy, so yeah, amusement parks. I think I'm gonna start sticking with the rides that have only been in practice for a long, long, long time with no incident.
I don't blame you.
Well, generally it's like, like both of these drop tower incidents I mentioned are both smaller operators. Like Icon Park, you never heard of just because it's basically operated by a company who actually makes the drop tower stuff. Funtime, it's their subsidiary. So it's basically a small park. And then the Glenwood Caverns, which had the child incident, was also a small park. That's where a lot of these more fatalities are most likely to happen is smaller parks. Bigger chain things have basically redundant staff, so it's usually safer. But yeah, this is also why secondary restraints are important, despite people complaining about them on roller coasters. Like, oh, why do I have to have a seatbelt also on top of the waist bar? But
Why would
yeah,
people
that's
complain
why,
about them? Why would people complain about them?
because they want more airtime. Like when, because let me see what's the word I'm looking for. Like people complain about over the shoulder restraints, or they say like, oh, you only need over the shoulder restraints, or a what's the word I'm thinking of? Word or something, but basically it's just on the chest, like a like a lot of the old wooden roller coasters, like
Yeah, lap bar or something like
lap
that.
bar. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, lap bar, like it technically is enough to secure you. You don't really need a seatbelt, but at the same time, those redundancies are important, especially when like something's not properly checked.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just picturing some Hicks McRedneck following the drop ride like 3 feet behind. I knew there'd be more airtime like this.
Airtime. They want that airtime, huh? Like what do they mean? They want the air. What do you mean? Want airtime? They want the air against their whole body or something?
Yeah, well, no, like where it's like you feel when a roller coaster flings you up in the air, like there's like ejector air time is where it's more of a fling, or like floater air time is more it's like when you're going down a hill and like you feel like you're floating. So when you have a seatbelt, it basically you're not giving as much as you normally can, but it's like it's a minor annoyance. And like that's why I say this incident shows importance of having those secondary redundant safeties.
Yeah.
But that's not to say there still are some fun.
Yeah, and like all of them, we'll forget before too long.
Truth,
Remember
unfortunately.
the girl who got her feet sliced off at a ride?
Yeah, that happened up in a park right down by us.
Yeah. Okay, so not all of us.
Actually, I don't remember. Actually, I didn't hear about that until now. I didn't even know
happened.
that actually happened.
Yeah, it happened in Kentucky Kingdom. What happened is a cable snapped on the ride and got tangled around the riders.
Oh no.
And the ride operators didn't really know what to do at first, so they didn't hit the emergency stop button soon enough. So they hit the emergency stop, but basically 2 seconds after it dropped. So for those rides, the emergency stop can't stop it after that point. So when it dropped, the cable was still wrapped around her legs, and just like the weight just sliced them right off.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah, that's why that's sort of, it was like when Six Flags owned Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville.
Yeah.
And also like sort of why that park closed down like 2 years after that. They sort of like, okay, let's just abandon this park.
Yeah.
The park eventually came back because the original person who basically rebuilt Kentucky Kingdom bought the park back, Ed Hart. So he eventually brought it back without Six Flags. So it is a better and probably safer park now, to say.
Let's hope
They
so.
said they'd not only pay the kids medical bills, but provide for her for life. And I mean, I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, you should. There's really no coming back from that. You've had your feet sliced off.
Wow. Yeah, point taken. Sheesh, that's just that just shivers up my spine.
Yeah, sheesh.
Makes you never want to go to an amusement park. Makes it never want to go to an amusement park ever again.
Yeah. Like, yeah, even now, and I mean, like, I love my hometown amusement park, but I mean, we've had one fatality that, a very codependent string of events, like rainstorms happening, everybody's hiding under the, roof, I guess you could say, of this ride that has, like, no walls but a ceiling built over it, and then a microburst hit the ceiling and caused it to collapse on somebody. But I mean, yeah, stuff like that. I feel like I'm gonna be, every time I go to one of these things, like using the just in case judgment calls.
Wow. Yeah, there's like statistically with theme parks, like there is like when you have millions of people go to these parks over years, eventually statistically something is going to happen. you don't hear much about Disney, mostly because they literally have it where they don't have to announce it with the local governments. So lots of people have died at Disney World. You just don't hear about most of the incidents.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, like I think one of the bigger issues they had was like the original like space, like feel like you're going to Mars mission things, like at at one of the similar parts of it, like the alternate originally had like, you know, one of those things where like you feel the G forces like the astronauts train on. They had a similar thing set up that, so like it really did feel like you're launching off, but like that put so many forces on some people that if they had like a weak heart or something, it would induce a heart attack.
Shouldn't they have don't they have like a warning on with a sign that says like if you have a weak heart, don't get on?
Do people listen to stuff?
That's an even better question.
Oh, yeah, and how much of it is trial and error?
Actually, fun fact, because I was like researching Kings Island before I posted stuff, I read a book. Kings Island was actually the park that first originated the whole like warning sign outside of attractions and roller coasters that said if you have X condition, don't get on and all that. That actually started at Kings Island. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you ever see those like if you have you need to have working legs for this ride or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, like statistically, every park's going to have some sort of incident like this. I know Kings Island had its like Black Friday or I forget whatever Black Day it was, where like 3 people died within like a matter of like 5-10 minute period one day.
What?
Yeah, this happened in like the 80s.
Wait, that's
what happened? Like 2 of them died is more of the park's fault because basically this is before grounded electric wires was like more universal across the parks. Because you know a lot of electric wires don't have the little third prong, and that's not as common. Like that wasn't that common in the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, one of those was connected to like some of the fountain stuff. So when someone slipped into a fountain that had an insecure wire, they basically had a heart attack in it.
Oh,
and then 2 people went in trying to save that person, and 3 people got electrocuted. One of them did make it out, but the 2 of them did drown there.
Oh man.
But actually, as I said, 3 people died because at the same time, like one of the like flipping like Intamin like ride, like spaceship ride that like lifts you up and then you can like sort of control the spin. You can like sort of even like with a customer was on there was drunk essentially, and she passed out on it, and basically her arm hit the thing that switched to flip over, so she flipped over. And the rides are supposed to be like if you pass out you're secure, designed that well. So she slipped out when she was unconscious, and basically her body was limp.
Oh my goodness.
So that one was not really the park's fault. That was more the ride's fault. Like I said, there's alternating. But yeah, the electrical one was the one I got Kings Island in trouble for a while. That was like the late 80s. And then another incident, which is actually more like there's 2 other incidents at Kings Island. One involved someone, actually I think potentially both involved people being drunk. Was like one is more famous, where basically during a high school graduation party, or I think maybe college, one person broke away from his group and didn't know what happened to him. Well, and some sort of drunk fit, he basically squeezed out of the top of the Eiffel Tower at Kings Island and started like, let me try to ride the elevator going up or something like that.
What?
And he got caught in his head got caught in some of the cables. So.
Oh no.
So yeah, that's.
He was trying to ride the elevator, like how? Like not even get in the car?
Yeah, we don't know specifics. That's what people guess. All we know is basically he snuck out of like into the restricted area of like the cables and all that. Like where there's the emergency the emergency stair stuff.
Wow.
And then the other thing, which is back when Kings Island actually had a zoo area. One of the tamers basically got mauled to death by lions.
Now that I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he was known to be irresponsible, and basically, like I said, it seemed to be they guess he decided to take a leak outside of his like Jeep they had for patrolling. So I was like, let me just get out of the secured Jeep and just take a piss over there where in the lion exhibit. It didn't end well, and it was deemed it was also not the best. He was doing stupid stuff before this. Like I think there was rumors that he would even try to ride some of the lions like horses.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, so those cases were like, yeah, the people were drunk or stupid. It was more of their fault.
Yeah.
Surely we should hire this guy.
Totally.
Do I get to ride the lion? Yeah, I see no problem here.
Well, actually, to go at that point, Kings Island at that time had an outside operator basically in charge of that and doing hiring. After that incident, they basically fired that group and directly and were put in charge of the monorail zoo exhibit themselves. So yeah, we're gonna improve standards and do this ourselves.
Yeah, good plan. Might want to do that.
But yeah, and yeah, you said mention Kennywood like one collapsing. It's just like statistically these things happens. It's more like if it was the ride operator's fault or if there's a design flaw in machines, like to sort of be aware of.
Right.
Because sometimes it really is just the individual like might just have a medical condition.
And I mean, there's a level on which you could be struck by lightning anywhere. It's
Well, there's insurance for. Well, there's insurance for that. Insurance for that. If you happen to get mauled by a lion.
Gerald Ford dead today. He was mauled by a circus lion at a convenience store.
Well. They won't give that. You will not get insurance coverage if you decide to take a piss outside of a lion enclosure.
Are you feeding the lion?
That's just wrong. I just got the worst visual in my head. Moving on.
Yeah.
But I guess fun fact for those who like outside of the Cincinnati area, like I said, that exhibit used to be part of a monorail, and like I don't know, they have some of the drive-through zoos. Well, since Kings Island's had like that lion exhibit and other zoo exhibits were through like a monorail system.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after they decided like let's just get rid of the animals in like the early 90s, the monorail just sort of was eventually bought by a local food company, Jungle Gyms, who is known for having like a bunch of exotic and international food items.
And which they do.
And just sort of being wacky. And they said like, let's just put a monorail in one of our stores.
And yeah, it's literally, you could literally see it outside. Like if you see the big old monorail, then you're there. And it doesn't work in there. They just thought like, hey, it just looks cool.
It doesn't work in the one store, but the other one actually does work, and it takes you to like a more of a premium area for like where there's a bar and all that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like their main store. Yeah, their main one actually does work some of the time.
I did not know that. But one of the Jungle Gyms is like as an amazing hot sauce selection.
Like Jungle Gyms. I mean, I know I've seen them before, but it's been so long. Like I pictured, like a jungle gym. If the world still remembers what that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I mentioned it, brought up before, and you mentioned that. But yeah, it's not surprising you didn't heard of because like there literally is only two chains, like two stores in this chain so far in Cincinnati area. Yep. And like the owner likes to joke, like I could make smart decisions or I could make fun decisions. There's the reason we have a monorail and don't have like 30 other stores. Like he said that in an interview. So yeah, like he literally just like started.
No, I've seen a place named that before.
You can literally make a whole day out of like just shopping there.
In Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Is that I go there all the time? Is that where I've? Okay, yeah, it's a sort of park with like it's like a pool and maybe a couple other things in there, but the one you're talking about is not an amusement park?
Correct.
No.
It's one big giant like convenience store.
Yeah, it's like
so yeah, it would appear that lots of places are named Jungle Gyms and with nothing to do with each other, and I can only assume they don't know about each other if there's been no lawsuit yet.
As long as they don't listen to this.
Yes. Yeah, don't listen to us. We're just some weirdos with a podcast.
Yep.
You just keep doing you.
Exactly.
But, before we sign off, yeah, we'll say if you're in the Cincinnati area, definitely check out Jungle Gyms. It's It's been called the Walt Disney World of grocery stores for a reason.
You can find literally anything and everything in everything. You find foods and delicacies from different countries.
And nobody was in any way paid to say that.
Serious? Yeah, I was not paid to say that, unfortunately. But it's from real life. It's truth. Like, I took my sister there for her birthday years ago. She said, "I have only one present." I was like, "What?" Take me to Jungle Jim's. I was like, "Okay." So we all spent literally a whole day at Jungle Jim's just shopping for stuff. And they have just you name it, they have it. They have like they have like little fresh fish. They have fresh fish. Like, you actually get to see them kill the fish.
I like fresh fish. It's just fine at Finny's Diner. Finny also has some fresher fish that's fresher and much finer.
What he said. Yes, you have fresh fish. You literally see them kill the fish on the spot. Amazing, big, giant, crazy bakery, and just food from like all around the world, and the biggest amount of cheese and hot sauce I've ever seen in my life.
Les poissons, how I love les poissons.
To chop and to serve little fish. Chop, chop, chop.
First I cut off their heads, then I take out the bones.
Not may we. I don't remember the rest of the words.
Oh, I love little fishes, don't you?
Dum, dum, dum.
But yeah, I guess that summarizes this podcast session, which actually lasted longer than I thought. Just covering news and what we've been up to. It's going on 2 hours, so again,
that's what we do. We're a bunch of geeks.
Yep.
We like to talk.
We do.
If it's geeky.
But yeah, I guess I'll see y'all next time, and should have a topic next time, especially since a lot of anime and also Sonic is coming out, so more stuff there.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
May this one be every bit the pleasant surprise the last one was.
Yep.